LPD 1041.
Signal 10 assistance.
Inside the Squad, presented by the Lafayette Police Department. To serve and protect is not just a motto, it's our mission.
Sending another unit.
Step it up.
Welcome back to Inside the Squad. We've decided to bring in one of our favorite nonprofits in the greater Lafayette community. You want to take us off?
Definitely. Thanks, MK. My name is Chad Krockover. I'm the CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters here in the greater Lafayette area. We're excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So let's just go around the table. I think all four of us here are bigs. So let's go around, introduce yourself. How long have you been a big? Chad.
Oh, hi, I'm Chad.
We're going back.
I've been a big for 6 years.
Okay.
I am Adam. I am the chief of police for the West Lafayette Police Department, and I have been a big for 4 years. I'm on my second little, so
Within the 4 years?
within the 4 years, yeah.
All right.
My name is Jacob. I'm an officer at Lafayette Police Department. I've been a big for 3 months.
Newbie.
Awesome.
How you like it so far?
It's really awesome. It's a great time.
Yeah. And how old is your little?
He's 10.
10. Oh, what?
It's a good age.
Yeah. A lot of
Everything's
stuff to
exciting
do.
with them, so it's a really fun time.
Yeah. So I think every listener has heard of Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's a national program. But today we are here to really go over the Bigs in Blue and Bigs with Badges program. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is?
Sure. The Bigs in Blue program is designed to match officers in our community with kids in the community. So the idea behind it is that developing a positive experience both for kids in the community and a positive experience for officers in the community, and really establishing that that relationship, that one-to-one relationship, or even in a group mentoring situation where it could be multiple kids, that it's, a positive interaction can occur, and at the end of the day, everybody's human beings interacting.
So Adam, you are the chief of police.
Yeah.
Tell me about that relationship with the little. Are they, I don't want to say a little intimidated, but how does that relationship form? And
Yeah, I don't think it makes any difference to him at all. Him or my first little Jax, they knew that I was a police officer, but I was very intentional about my interactions with them. I was never in uniform. I was just a person, and that was important to me, to just be a good person with them, and really without concentrating on my job. So I don't think it makes any difference to them whatsoever that not only that I'm a police officer, but that I'm a chief of police, or when I started I was a captain. That doesn't mean anything to them. They just like hanging out.
Okay. So do you think, do they know you're a police officer though, right?
They do.
So does that increase their perception of policing, or do you think that
I
makes
hope
a difference?
so. I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons that I got involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters. I started at a time, kind of one of the low points for law enforcement, as far as our involvement with our community. And not only was it something personal for me that I had wanted to become involved with, but I thought that this would be a good way, kind of at a grassroots level, to get to know, even if it was only one child, influence them. They're going to have influence over their friends and say, hey, this is what all this stuff that we hear on social media and from other people. This isn't really how the police are. I know a police officer, and he's a good dude, and we have fun and hang out, and he's not out to get me. And that it just evolved from there.
Why did you guys become bigs?
So I became a big because I was looking for, obviously being a cop, I love giving back to the community, love working with the community, and I was looking for alternative routes to become a big. And actually during our last shift bid, that's when we had the presentation for Big Brother Big Sister, and I was like, that's something I definitely want to do. And I think that next week I actually signed up to be a big, and then like a month or two later I got matched with Kelly.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, mine was twofold. I'm a big kid myself, so it was an opportunity to do things. It's a good excuse to be a kid, but also professionally, it was like I just talked about, a way to engage with the community that's a little bit different. I didn't have to be in uniform. I could kind of behind the scenes, so to speak, make a difference in somebody's life, and hopefully also make a difference in the community perception of police officers.
Okay. What about you, Chad?
Well, first I say it's great to hear that the shift bid was where Jacob heard about this, because we've done a lot of presentations, and it's good to hear the fruits of those conversations. So that's awesome to hear. So I was actually presenting at a LPD training or some type of mandatory meeting. I'd been in my position for about a year, and I was leaving the meeting thinking to myself, well, I'm asking these officers to be big, and I'm not a big, so I think I need to do it. So right in my car, I filled out the application and then went through the process, and I got matched with Alvin when he was 9, and he's now 15. Of course, doing the math, we all figure that out. And things have changed a ton. He's changed a ton. But it's one of the strongest relationships I've ever built with any human being, because it's fascinating that just being there, not really having an agenda or having some type of syllabus or something to go over with him, or not, a goal of every meeting, just being there with him and being a consistent part of his life has just created this bond that is super strong. So it's been amazing. I've got a ton out of it. Obviously, being the CEO of the organization, it's helpful to walk in those footsteps when you're recruiting somebody, when you're selling something. If you don't use it yourself, no one wants to buy it. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, I'm sort of the same way. I got involved 5-ish years ago, 4 or 5. But I was really looking for someone to do stuff with, None of my friends are really active, so I'm like, you know what? I'm a kid, basically, like you, big kid at heart. So we got matched. We had a ton of fun. And recently, her boyfriend actually asked me about becoming a police officer.
Oh, wow.
Those two have attended a lot of LPD events, so I don't know if it's because of that or I don't know. Hopefully,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a full circle kind of symbiotic thing happening there.
Maybe he'll grow up to be a big.
That'd blow our minds right now.
Yeah.
All right, so Chad, tell us what do you look for in a big? How do you become a big? What's the time commitment?
Sure. To become a big, it's as simple as going on our website and filling out the interest kind of questionnaire, the initial form. We're looking for somebody it's a quality human being. I mean, you have to be able to pass a background check. You have to be able to be safe. You have to be safe with the child, obviously. So that's very important. But really, at the end of the day, we're looking for somebody that can be there for a kid. I mean, I try to keep it as simple as possible because it is simple. I mean, literally, it is doing what you say you're going to do, and it's being there and it's listening. And, even recently, so I got to the point with Alvin where I felt like we spent all this time and all I was doing was like interrogating him, to use the, proper word, interrogating him about grades and what's going on and what decisions he's making. And I'm like, hold up. I'm like, I'm not his parent, and I have 3 grown children. So, I mean, I've been through several things with them. I looked at him and I said, I'm going to focus on listening to you more. I need to be more listening and less judging. And it's just funny because he's like, okay, it's like whatever. And I think that, so again, going back to your question, it's the time commitment. We talk about being an hour a week to change someone's life. We talk about that's our tagline. If we can get somebody that commits to 2 hours a month. If I can get somebody to commit to an hour a month, if we get somebody that just says, yes, we will do it, we'll take it. Because if we do our job correctly, you spend more time. I mean, I don't keep track of the time that Alvin and I spend together, but if I see him pretty much weekly, and it's for multiple hours. And it's it's again, it's nothing real exciting that goes on, but I think that somebody that will be there, somebody that can be reliable. Because, you know, if you look at all of the kids in our program, if you're trying to find like a theme, a thread that goes through all their lives, it's they've been disappointed by somebody. Somebody in their life has let them down. And we do not want to add to that ever. So we are very, very intentional during the interview and matching process to make sure we're making the right match that's not going to cause a negative or a letdown or a disappointment for the child.
Yeah. I remember when I first started, you guys did say an hour time commitment a week. When I first started, I was able to do that. Now, you know, I'm a new mom, full-time job. My little has a job after work, so a lot of times we're really not able to do that hour a week. But we've created this relationship where we rely on each other. She calls me whenever she's going through something, and it's just nice being there for her.
That's great. Yeah, you know, a lot of times, you know, we have site-based programs and we have community-based programs. A site-based program is you're basically meeting the little where they are. So, you know, I started as a site-based match with Alvin where I met him at school for lunch. And it literally was an hour because, you know, it's a round-trip hour because you get there and then they got to get their lunch and then, you know, they got like 38 minutes to eat and we would play Connect 4 or chess or talk about stuff or whatever. And that kind of, and then that can evolve into a community style match where that's more of the traditional, what you think about where picking up the kid after school and then, you know, it's kind of like going to a park or going to a movie or store or whatever, just kind of, and again, you're kind of inviting someone that's becoming a big is making the commitment is you're just inviting this kid to follow you through your life. Because if you have, the day that I'm with Alvin, if I have to run errands, I did a little spiel on this at one of our gala event, I think it was last year, that you know, we used to go to the package. I used to sell a bunch of shoes, a bunch of sneakers. And so we'd go to the package store like all the time. And so we was at a routine. We go to the package store, drop off 3 or 4 pairs of shoes. We'd make comments about those giant fish that are in the package store at A1 Packaging on West Lafayette.
Yeah.
You know, if they want to send me free stuff, they can. But it's just like he loves it. I mean, he's out of his house and he does not care. I mean, we could stare at grass growing and he'd be perfectly happy with that.
What about you two? What do you guys do with your littles?
So I started with my first little. I started as a site-based match, and I played a lot of dodgeball at Lafayette Mentors, which was a lot of fun. I kind of felt like Billy Madison. I'll throw out a little '90s movie reference there, but playing to get dodgeball against kids. But my little now is really into video games, Fortnite in particular, and so it was kind of I'm not a gamer, but I have taken up Fortnite a little bit, so that's kind of a way that we connect. But we saw lots of movies this summer. We've gone out to eat. We've taken advantage of the Cason Family Park in West Lafayette. He has recently readopted riding his bike around. He's getting to the age where he has a little bit of freedom and can ride around his neighborhood. And so I see some bike rides probably coming in our future. But a lot like you, MK, it's just being there. It's not necessarily what we are doing together, but it's the fact that he has somebody that he can reach out to. We text a lot more often than maybe we get to see each other, and it's just, you know, the other day was his first day of school, and I just, you know, asked him how his day was and just checking in with him, and it's just a really more than a committed in-person presence. It's a constant presence, and you're just there for them, and I think that's important.
Right.
My little and I, like I said, we've only been matched for like 3 months, so we're still kind of figuring things out. But we've had a lot of fun going to different parks. The other day, I took him to the zoo just down the street, and like all the goats were just chewing on his shoelaces, and he thought it was like the greatest thing ever. But we've gone anything from like putt at Monster Golf to even just going to a pizza place like in his town, because he lives just outside of Lafayette, and just sitting there, just talking to him, just kind of being there present in the moment with him, just listening to everything he says and being receptive to anything that he says it's been really fun for me. It's been really fun for him. He's always excited. I get tons of texts from his mom like, he's excited to see you. He's excited to go do this. He's excited to go do that. So it's really good, not only from the aspect of that, but also the aspect of his parents excited, I'm excited. So everyone involved around in his life right now is excited for him and for this interaction I'm able to have with him. So it's just a really good time.
Have you guys learned anything being a big?
I'm sure I have. It's a little different, a lot like we talked about before we started. The age progression, the transition that I've watched Mikey, my little go through, where he was the excited little kid that you have right now in Kelly, to now he's kind of the I don't want to say brooding teenager. He's not brooding. He's a happy kid, but he's a teenager very much, and it is. I'm learning. He's a little bit ahead of my own son in age, so I'm kind of. It's almost teaching me how to be a parent and interact and prepare my own self for what my son will be going through here in about a year after what Mikey is. So I'm learning. Obviously, I learned how to play Fortnite from him, but I'm learning other things as well.
Did you make it out of the building? Do you make it out of the first building?
Out of the building, you drop in the middle of a map. You don't come on.
I thought you dropped in the top. I played once, and I dropped in with my kids. I dropped in the building, and I was walking downstairs backwards, and I got shot. Didn't make it out of the first building.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm terrible.
I'm not a Fortnite pro, but
have you build stuff in that too?
No, that's Minecraft.
Okay, I don't know.
There's a build option.
There's a build. I don't do build. I do no build Fortnite, so I can't make all the barricades and whatnot.
I have very low knowledge of that.
But yeah, I totally agree with you. I've been out of high school, like 15 years? And even then, like, things, I know, you've been, 50? I'm just kidding.
I'm so old.
50, age call out.
I'm the oldest person here. This is super fun.
Anyways, even since then, things have changed so much about, what kids go through in high school these days versus even, a couple years ago. So I think that's what I've learned.
Yeah.
It's brutal out there.
I learned what no cap and cap meant back when people were saying that, because I was like, I don't know.
That's
and
bussin'.
then now we say pause, and that's super funny sometimes because I get it, and we say if someone says something that's a little bit like an innuendo, you just pause, and it's funny. And he's just, we have the most hilarious conversations in my car, going to either to my house or wherever we're going, and. Yeah, I don't know I'm trying to think what else I've learned. It's seeing the world through his eyes has been really different. Especially he's going to the same schools that my kids went to, and it's just a different perspective on some things, which I've appreciated, because they were expecting a younger person. They requested a younger person, and they're big. And I am significantly older than what they were anticipating, and I almost could be his mom's dad. That's how old I am, but anyway, it's been it's been pretty amazing.
What about you, Jacob? I know you're pretty new to this.
Yeah, I'm still pretty new, but I definitely have learned, my brother's only 5 years younger than me, and I haven't really hung out with anyone. I don't have any cousins or anyone that's around the age of 10. So just being able to kind of understand, you said, their perspective of life and everything they're going through and how they're perceiving it. It's definitely been a pretty big impact on me, because now I'm more knowledgeable and predominantly the younger juvenile ages. So I could transfer that to work. I can also just transfer that for strictly just future things. When now I feel like if Kelly had something off, a bad day or something, I'd be able to kind of pick up on that, just because the last 3 months we've been matched, I'm kind of starting to get kind of a baseline almost of what his normal day is like and how he normally would feel and how it just kind of how he's interacting with me.
Do you think it helps you interact with youth in your job?
I feel like it hasn't yet, but that's just because I don't normally interact with juveniles on my job. But I feel like if I had an opportunity to, it definitely would.
Didn't mean to take over the question asking.
Go for it.
That's all I got.
If you guys have
Hey, you're curious about what the advantages are on the big side of things. So
yeah. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Got anything else?
No, that's all I got.
Okay. So since you brought the job back, let's get back into the Bigs in Blue, Bigs with Badges program. How How do you think parents usually respond when they hear their child has been matched with an officer? Is it something they request, or is it just something you do?
We've had a handful of parents request the program. Stacia does a really good job in our office of kind of communicating the opportunities that are out there for to kind of select from, I guess you could say. It's been extremely positive for the most part, responses from parents and guardians about the opportunity for their child to be matched with a police officer. I think that we have to be very cognitive of the unique relationship that could happen in that world. I remember when we first started, the first Bigs and Blue match that we didn't really think about the officer's perspective of kind of reviewing the match beforehand, just in case there was history, if there was some type of work-related history, and that kind of opened our eyes to, okay, so that's another kind of step we got to think about, and so that kind of helps streamline the process as we kind of expected that moving forward. But I think the parents, and I think they're excited about it. I think that once the kid has that first interaction, and again, realize kind of what Adam was saying. I mean, it's a person. I mean, it's just a human being. It's a person, and that they have this kind of inside track to kind of getting to know what's going on with that. It becomes super cool. Then I think it's a exponential kind of positivity kind of happens from that once just gets another layer of, it's not any different than if we had we had architects that were being matched with kids. I mean, there's things something architects do that would be interesting for kids maybe, or might be a bad example, but I think that, it's kind of just that other layer for the parents to realize that their child's getting that experience. So I think it's been good.
So how do you prevent if you actually go back and do you let the officer review the family and the child to make sure there isn't a history, or? Yeah,
so we kind of normally we present the match. So in a regular non Bigs Blue match, the match is presented to the family and the match is presented to the Bigs. So they kind of get a summary of what this individual is. For the Bigs and Blue program, it's a little bit different. They're given more information and pretty much access to whatever they need to determine what their interaction has or has not been with the family, and it's been super, super positive.
Did your littles express any kind of excitement or?
I think, well, so my first little I was matched as a Bigs and Blue match specifically. He was at that age. The first interaction, I think, probably for everybody is it's a little awkward. You're being, a child is being introduced to a stranger, and then it takes off from there, and it certainly did. And then my first little moved out of state, but because I was a site-based program, I interacted with not only my own little, but a lot of other boys that were at the Lafayette Mentors facility, many of whom were on our waiting list. And so I actually got to somewhat preview my new little, who I don't think was specifically wanting a police officer, but he was one of the boys at the facility that I had just connected with. And had I not, it was kind of a unique situation. Had I not been matched with Jax, if I had been given the opportunity to pick a little, I would have picked Mikey. And then end up when Jax moved away, Robin, the match support specialist, said, what do you think about being matched with Mikey? And it was a no-brainer. And it's just gone for a number of years now, and I'm very glad I did it. So,
what about you?
I don't think Kelly has a preference. Honestly, if I was a cop or not, he definitely thinks it's cool. He definitely really wants me to be a canine officer now because he thinks it'd be awesome if I had a dog. But I was kind of talking to you guys before the podcast. Kelly's mom is always quite interested in it. She's more so pretty supportive of it. She just is really interested in kind of what we do and as law enforcement officers. So it's kind of nice having I guess that was my biggest kind of caution going into this, is I was I want to make sure not only that the kid's okay with me being a cop, but also the family. Because at the end of the day, there has to be a good triangle of communication between me and Kelly and Kelly's mom, obviously. So No, I've been thankful that everyone's been pretty supportive of my role in the community, and we don't really let it kind of interact, or we don't really let it directly kind of lead anything that we do. We kind of just, like it's been said, we're just kind of just people hanging out at the end of the day. So it's been a great time.
Yeah. Do you have littles on the wait list waiting to be matched with police officers?
We periodically do. I think right now there's a couple that have a preference for a police officer. Like I said, Stacia tries really hard to get these kids matched as soon as possible, and obviously the more specific a parent is, the longer it could take to be matched, unless that perfect person walks in the door. So, they're usually a Bigs and Blue request would be like a preference, and so if there's an opportunity that's not a Bigs and Blue, she'd still probably present that to the family. But yeah, there's always a 2, 3 that have it on 2, 3, 4 that have it on their list.
How many bigs are currently in the program? I know we have 2 at LPD. How many at WL?
I'm not sure how many are active officers. We had an officer leave the agency recently, and she was in the program, but I think her little moved as well. At one point, we had 4 officers that were bigs.
I think we've had, it's been around 6 for between 5 and 6 for a while. There's been some turnover in there a little bit, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely a huge opportunity for more. I think the biggest challenge that we learned quickly when I was presenting this program 6 years ago is that officers don't want to hear from Chad thinking the program is a good idea, because Chad's not a police officer, never been a police officer. They want to hear from their brothers and sisters that are doing this, and that the other officers and their experiences. And we've been lucky and blessed to have individuals like Adam, who's done countless numbers of these type of things and been part of photos and all kinds of other stuff. And the more, and now Jacob is now involved, and so I think that the more it's word of mouth, and our number one marketing tool is word of mouth. It's been that way since I've been here, and for years and years and years. So, the more bigs that positive experiences and are talking about it in their circles, that's how we're going to grow. And positive experiences, we're in charge of managing that big experience, both through match support and through just overall organization and having activities and doing the right things. And so, the more we can get officers to tell other officers about how great the program is, that's the way we're going to be able to grow. But it's been slow, but it's been positive. It's slow.
I think the hard part for police officers in particular is that we make ourselves pretty insulated. We're very nervous, very cautious about our relationships because of what we do. And it's just probably with any profession, but particularly with ours, it's just taking that first step and understanding that you can make it okay. You can be guarded, but you don't need to be, and you'll figure that out really quickly. And it's really not, for me, I've always said that we talk about time commitment. For me, my time with my little is the break. It's a chance where I don't have to answer emails. I don't have to worry about work and the other things that are going on in my life, because I want to concentrate on my interaction with him. And kind of like Chad said, it's not complicated to figure out what you're going to go do. Most of these kids just want to go do something. Mm-hmm. So anything that they do is going to be better than probably just sitting at home. So it's really a lot easier than I think people believe it is before they start.
Yeah. So on the slim chance that it's not working out, what kind of support do you provide?
So every match is assigned to a match support specialist. We have a huge advantage in that world because Renata and Robin combined have been with the organization for over 70 years now, is what that number is. Wow. The average match support person throughout the nation is about an 18-month to 2-year person, and they've been there for over 30 years, both of them. And they're there to help out. They're there to listen. They're there to problem solve. They're there to, if something feels uncomfortable, you should be picking up the phone and calling them or emailing them. And they are to kind of walk you through and be your guy in the chair or whatever that, be that support person for when it is. Cause it, like Adam said, it's a little uncomfortable sometimes. I mean, it's not the easiest way to volunteer. It's not the easiest volunteer opportunity in the world, and we'll never sell it as that. We have the best story to tell. We have the best impact story to tell, but nothing goes without cost. And it's a little bit, it's challenging sometimes. But I think that when there's a challenge, when something doesn't go perfectly, having Renata and Robin in your corner, they're there to help, and they've seen a lot of things. They both have vast experience even prior to Big Brothers Big Sisters, but they just are great people to bounce those challenges off of.
All right, lightning round. Let's try and answer this in 10 seconds or less for everyone. What was your first meeting with your little like? I'm going to say it was completely awkward, but it was fun.
Definitely awkward. He actually beat me in putt-putt.
Oof.
Yeah, it was brutal.
That was your first meeting?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't get beaten putt-putt. Honestly, I don't remember my first meeting with my current little because he was one of the other boys on the waiting list when I was matched with my first little. And that was, I would say, a little awkward the first time we met, but after that, it was just easy. It was dodgeball, basketball, soccer, and fun.
You should have a buzzer with this. It'd be really exciting if you had a buzzer. Mine was a little bit petrifying. We met in school. We met in the school where we were going to have our weekly things, and it was kind of scary, but it was fun. At the end, I felt great. It was like a roller coaster. I was kind of scared, then it was fun, and then I'm going to do it again.
There's your buzzer.
I made it, though. I made it.
What surprised you most about being a big? Jacob?
Oh boy. I think what surprised me most, like I said earlier, just learning what it's like to kind of get the perspective of like a 10-year-old. Like I was 10 like years ago, not probably that many years ago, obviously, but I was 10 a while ago, and just kind of like seeing how things have changed has been pretty unique.
Yeah.
Mine was how it was just, like I said earlier, just a good excuse to be a big kid is all. I just got to have fun and do it for a good cause. And then maybe they learn something along the way.
Yeah. I didn't think I'd be as emotionally invested.
That's very true. I'm going to go off that one too.
Same. Got it.
All right. And your favorite activity you guys have done so far?
Probably the zoo. It's always really fun going to that zoo, and the goats are always the best part. And just seeing how happy he was with the goats really just made it worth every moment.
Mine is a recent one. I had taken him fishing, which is not really his jam, but I'd given him this long speech before we went fishing about how about patience and all of these things, and the dude caught 33 fish in less than an hour, like it was nothing. So he has a warped perspective on what fishing really is now. So
I got to see, we worked with 106.7, and Alvin got to do, got to rap on a live mic, and it got recorded, and it was seeing him in his element. That's he loves rap and freestyling, and seeing him in that element was really an eye opener for me. It was awesome.
And I'm gonna say a Jonas Brothers concert. Y'all are fans, don't even.
couldn't name a single song.
Neither could I.
I could burst out.
I know one
right
of
now.
them was in some movies. One of them was in what was the Jumanji movie, right?
I couldn't name their names besides Jonas
Yeah.
Brothers.
You got half of it. Okay, so let's wrap it up. How do people get involved?
Simple. Go to our website, which is just, Googling Big Brothers Big Sisters, bbbslaf.org. Clicking on volunteer, clicking on the filling out the form and firing away. Contacting me, stop in our office. We're at almost every community event that exists. We want to meet you where you're at if somebody is interested in doing it. But going to our website's the quickest way.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. And I'll add to Chad, for any people interested in Bigs and Blue, officers in particular, of course, they can contact Jacob or myself or any other officer that they might know be involved in the program, and we'll get them plugged in.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been a really positive experience, and definitely recommend it.
Awesome.